Let's talk about your OG YouTube days
Yes.
because yes, there were some videos put out that like people considered controversial and people like tried to bring your old YouTube videos back to this day. Like you got involved in like I feel like a good bit of drama back then. Like when you look back at the OG YouTube days, how do you feel about them and how would you even describe them?
It's like so many eras of YouTube too. Like the OG ones were just like so great. It was like before you could make money on YouTube, it was just like fun. And then you start making money and then it's like, where do you find your niche? Like I said, I never felt like I had like talent. So I was like, what can I do? Oh, I can like piss people off. I can do this. So I definitely went like the trolling route because it was like the most money I ever made without having to like strip or hook. And I was just like, this is it, you know? So yeah, I definitely had a lot of like problematic videos and just stuff that like I didn't necessarily even think. I think if I was like me, I could like hold stronger to like, oh, I was just like young or whatever. But it was just like stuff I'd hear other people say that were like, and I would just like repeat it. I just wanted to be shocking and, you know, and I totally own up to it. And I look back at my videos and I'm like, well, you know, some of them are pretty bad, but I try to give myself grace and forgiveness with that because I used to be really hard on myself. I'm like, I know I suck. I'm problematic. And to this day, like I don't get sponsors on my podcast. Like shout out to our Patreon. Like our Patreons do it and stuff. So it's, you know, it's great. But yeah, I definitely forever have like this like mark on me on the internet of like kind of like, she's a little controversial or, you know, you just, people don't want you like around. But, you know, it's fine. Like again, my word of wise to people when I see people trolling now on the internet is like, just maybe don't because it'll like follow you forever. People will think of you as that forever. And rightfully so. Like, you know, like those clips will always be out there and people either see the change and the growth or they don't. And I think either one you just have to like live with, you know.
But I do think it's helpful that you're like explaining your backstory. And that's why I wanted to talk to you about it today because it's like, for sure. I bet I'll get comments being like, why the fuck are you having Trisha Paytas on? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I totally understand that. I also, though, think it's important. Like, the fact that you just said, like, I could make more money doing this than stripping and hooking. It's like, okay, like, it's good to know someone's backstory. And I think when you're saying those type of things, usually the people that are saying those things, you're not in a great place.
Never. Oh, my gosh.
Right?
Oh, back then I just I didn't care about me. I didn't think anything of the future. I was just like, I need to make money now. I'm just going to piss people off. I don't care. I don't have friends for a reason. Right. Never thinking like it would be a full career or anything, you know?
That's what I also think sometimes, like, people feel like they're lucky because they can make their fake accounts, but like, God forbid one day all of your fake account comments and trolling and you like telling people to go kill themselves or whatever. Like there are people on the internet that are so ruthless, but they don't have the balls to do it publicly and have their own name on it. If that, God forbid, you walked into work one day and all of your comments were placed on your own desk, would you be fired or not? And I think it like, if you look inward, all of those people are not in a good place. And clearly you weren't either. Yeah. And you've kind of had this like redemption arc, but like when you look back, do you think you were addicted to the drama once you started to see the money?
Oh yeah. I mean, for so long, like a good like 10, 12 years, I was so addicted. I was just so miserable. So like any attention was good attention. Money was just money. You know what I mean? So it just, it is crazy, but I did reap the karmatic, you know, effects of it all. So it does, like you said, even the trolls. I think it's so real. I think karma is so real, and like I've reaped all of that 10 times over, I'm sure, and still do to this day. We get a sponsor, and like everyone harasses them. Like, don't. So we lose at this point. I'm like, don't even give us sponsorships because I just know like so it's fine. Luckily, I have my ways to make money, but. Yeah, you reap it for a long time. So
totally. Why do you think though second chances are so important?
Because I think people do like change. I think majority of humans evolve as human beings, especially when you get older, when you find happiness, when you find love. Like, I mean, people do change. And I think like that's the whole point of humanity, right? Is like the evolution of it all. Like, I think our society shows that, like, you know, from like us in like the 60s, you know, with like segregation stuff, you know, I think it's like just shown like obviously people are change. Yeah. So I think that's important. Otherwise you never can grow and never can like, you know, but yeah, I've had second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chances. So I'm appreciative of all of them. Yeah. Some people don't deserve them. Some people don't want to give them to you, but I do think it's important to like try to see people changing. Yeah. Because I really think people do and can.
I agree. I think also it's really difficult on the internet when you have a persona that I even feel it sometimes. Like I feel like sometimes I've met people and they're like, oh my gosh, like I thought you were going to be such a bitch. You're going to be this. And I'm like, oh, like I mean, I don't know. You can be honest, like what you thought of before you met me.
Yeah, because you just hear all the stuff, right? You hear all the drama. And so you're just like, wow, she's ruthless. She's this. And not to say I don't judge, because obviously I know how people take things. But you hear those things, or just how, I don't know, you think someone's just going to be arrogant or whatever because you have all this like money and you're sketty and you're pretty. So you're like, well, you just know. I think you have the assumptions. Again, at this age, I don't. I'm just like, and I was surprised the energy you have is just so different than like people would think. You know what I mean?
No, I appreciate you saying that, because I think that's the point, is like we see people online and most of the time we never get to meet these people in person. So like there's a image online that people will like assume of you, and it's really fucking hard to break away from that. And so obviously like I know the way that I got through it was like, I know the truth and I know what happened, and I feel like I can go to sleep and I'm a good person and I have good people around me, and if I'm good with my life off the internet, I think then I did become a better version of myself on the internet, because it's like when all you are looking for is validation from the internet, which it seems like at one point that was, you didn't have friends, you were really in a dark place, like you're gonna just say some crazy fucking shit and you don't give a fuck. But I do think second chances, you're right, are important, because like I'm so proud of the growth that I've had, and I know you feel the same way about yourself, of like, of course we've changed, and of course now like when you have things you care about, everything is put in perspective.
Oh my God, so different. Right? Now it's like, oh, I don't want to embarrass my husband, I don't want to embarrass my daughter. You're like, so it changes everything about you. That's what I knew, like I had to change all of it, and it just, and I really do feel it. And I'm like, people can see it or they don't see it, I don't care, because I feel better. But it does feel, especially right now, that people have like seen it. And it's not me saying I've changed this. It just took time. I think with anything, like just public feuds, anything, people always, there's always sides that people pick without knowing the full truth. And it's just like getting through that. And it doesn't really matter at the end of the day what people think, about it. It's like some people are going to think I'm this person, something, whatever.
It's okay. Yeah. Right. As long as you know who you are. Yeah. Hi, Daddy Gang. Thank you so much for watching this video. Keep in mind, that was just a little clip from the episode. If you want to watch the entire full video episode, it is linked below. It's the first thing in the description. Go watch it. It's a great episode. Love you all. I will see you next Wednesday.